when you think you're supposed to go one way and just it seems like everything is blocking you. That's the feeling initially. But then what happens if we just release and we open our minds to wait, what did this change create? What opportunity did it give me? Instead of me getting angry that I'm not on the slopes right now.
Welcome to the Ignited Recovery Podcast, a new way forward for anyone looking for answers but feeling left out. If you've been searching for empowerment, triumph, and purpose, you've found them right here. You won't hear the same solutions, and you're not going to have any excuses to fall back on, because Ignited Recovery allows heroes to rise and become their best selves. I'm Dr. Sophie Jaffe, and I can't wait to be your guide on this journey. Are you ready to become an ignited hero?
This weekend, I was leading an intensive group mini retreat. And so much comes up when you're in a group of people for days together. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty powerful every single time. I'd known I had a crazy 3 weeks, and then I had a week break, and then I have another 3. Well, February plus the last week of January, they're going to be pretty crazy. And I've learned enough about myself that I don't take time for myself in between those things. So I booked time. I booked a flight to go snowboarding and book riding in Mammoth. So I booked it, and then yesterday, they're getting snow today in Mammoth. So I got an email saying, hey, your flight was canceled. It's moved to the next day. And my first reaction was like, really? Like, even when I go plan the thing doesn't work. So that was my first reaction. But fortunately, there was a follow-up. And the reason I say fortunately is I just keep learning. The world, if you let it, the world unfolds. And life unfolds, not necessarily as you planned, but as you need it to unfold. And so I get that message at, 3, and I'm upset, oh my gosh, I was supposed to be there already. I already paid for the hotel room. I don't know if they're going to let me, I still don't know if they're going to let me change the reservation. Do I now only get 2.5, almost 3 days for myself? Or how do I get 4 days now? All that stuff kind of came up because the plan I had made wasn't working out. And then 2 hours later, I hear about Noah and kind of Sophie's nightmare scenario as I'm leading this retreat, having, this problem with Noah and having to go to an urgent care and getting her taken care of. And, you can imagine that for a mom, having something like that happen to your kid, for a dad too, but Sophie faints at the sight of blood. Like, having your little girl bleed because she fell on the back of her head was really, really scary. So all that is going on. And then I get home, and I didn't plan for this, but you can hear my voice. My body was done, like shut down. I came back, I could barely talk. Last night was even worse. I couldn't really think, to be honest. Like, it was like my body and my brain were just telling me, okay, you pushed as hard as you can push. Now chill. But had the flight not been moved, I would have had to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to make it to a flight to 18-degree weather or whatever it is. And I love snowboarding, don't get me wrong, but I don't think right now I'm exactly in the state where I should be hanging out in the snow if possible. So this thing happened, and just like life, I wanted life to go right. And it was, no, we're actually going to pick this path. And at first it felt annoying until I just sort of settled in. And I woke up this morning, and Jen Brogan, our other coach, was here because she helped me lead this weekend. So she was here because I was able to wake up and I didn't have this early flight. I helped her get into an Uber and get to the airport. And I was able to kind of help her this morning so she wouldn't be alone in the morning. And then I went and sat down and wrote for a little bit. And I was just thinking to myself, like, thank God this flight got canceled. I don't know what I would have felt like if I had to leave the house at 5 o'clock in the morning, knowing Sophie's going to wake up with our girl with staples in her head and the trauma that she had and everything that happened yesterday. And I'd be like, okay, cool, I'm going snowboarding. And then on top of it, just my body feeling the way that it feels. It needs a day. It just needs a day to actually not do anything. And so I'm filled with gratitude, and weirdly for gratitude with life not working out the way I wanted it to. And those serendipitous little things that happen when you think you're supposed to go one way and just it seems like everything is blocking you. That's the feeling initially. But then what happens if we just release and we open our minds to, wait, what did this change create? What opportunity did it give me? Instead of me getting angry that I'm not on the slopes right now. And it's that duality we talk about all the time, right? We can choose which side we want to focus on. I don't know if it's the practices. I don't know if it's really the intensity of what happened to Noah. I don't know. I can't tell you, but I can tell you that I used to live a life where everything was always focused on what I was missing out on or what didn't work out the way I wanted to. And then how I was going to force my way into it. Like, what did I have to push harder on in order to bend reality into the way I thought it needed to be? And the less I do that, and the more freedom I give myself to just make my plans and adjust and make my plans and adjust and listen to the signals the world is sending me, the easier the experience. It's just easier. And it's so hard for me to let go sometimes of wanting for things to work out the way I want them to. It's so hard. And the vast majority of the times when I'm able to do it, I'm calmer, my life is better, and things work out as they're supposed to.
Thank you for tuning in to the Ignited Heroes Recovery Podcast. I really hope you found the information here useful and that we'll see you back here next week. And look, I want to make sure that this podcast is the most useful it can be for you, so please let me know by emailing info@ignited.com if there are any specific topics or questions you'd like to have addressed. As usual, if you like this episode, I would love for you to leave us a 5-star review and rating. Thanks, and see you next week.